Welcome to the After Dark podcast with Anthony James and Konrad. This is an extra episode for your YouTube comments because Anthony James and Konrad could not stop rambling on. What a pair of schmucks.
Hello and welcome to the After Dark podcast. I'm Anthony and we've got a very special guest for you today. Here joining us for the first time is Jonas.
Hello everyone, it's me, Jonas, from the hits German television show Dark.
Well,
Watch
Jonas.
season 3 now on Netflix.
Well, Jonas, how are you?
I'm doing alright, thank you. This is really hot. I don't know why you would wear this at any time. It's stifling. I feel protected from radiation. I'm just gonna let the listeners inside the bit. Don't worry, we're not gonna do this for the whole episode. Just stay with us.
Yeah, we're not gonna do this for a full 40-45 minutes.
Just bear with me while I indulge this very dramatic reveal of my face on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in character.
Right. Okay, Konrad. Jonas.
Jonas. I'm Lewis. What is his name?
Hoffman.
Lewis Hoffman.
Hang on. So you're so meta in the character that you're actually Lewis
I'm playing
Hoffman.
the actor. Yeah, I'm playing the actor playing Jonas.
Oh, that's even better. All right. What do you think of your auntie?
She's really hot.
Yeah. Just like you are right now.
Yeah, I'm so hot. This is not an outfit that is made to be worn indoors. I'll tell you that much. In fact, I'm gonna do it. The bit's over, everyone.
Here he is.
It was me, Austin. Ah!
There he
Hello.
is. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend, Konrad.
Let's take all this off now. I wasn't prepared for this. Sorry, I'm gonna have to lean towards the camera. Oh my god.
We've got a glimpse of the tattoos.
Be gone.
Sorry. There we go. All right.
We
got him.
We're back
There's
to being
Konrad.
professional now. Hi, everyone.
Oh yeah, just everyone watching on the YouTube channel, I'm probably going to cut a fair bit out of the audio. So if you're just watching this thinking, geez, those audio listeners must be hating them right now, I'll probably cut a lot of the, hey, look at his face stuff out. Not all of it.
Don't you dare.
Not
you
all
leave
of it.
all of this in.
Yeah, this is all quality good stuff. Anyway, there he is. That's Konrad. Get used to him. You'll be seeing him a fair bit. And so, Konrad, we've got a lot of questions to answer today. We're just going to go straight. We're just going to act like it's normal now. We'll just act like it's 100% normal. So, guys, make sure you subscribe to the podcasting apps if you haven't already. Big thanks to the people who have jumped over there. Again, you don't have to watch it there or listen to it there. You can just subscribe, delete the app, and it counts as our numbers. So that'd be great. Obviously, if you want to listen to it twice, once on YouTube, once on the audio apps, even better for us.
Or
So
three or four times. Go crazy.
Go crazy. Why not? So also, can you make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel? And then there's nothing else to say this episode because this is just a good old fun question and answers episode. So yeah, just have fun in the comments. Be nice to each other. Be nice to each other. Be kind. Right, let's get into the questions then.
Yeah, let's do it.
A stranger from the outside.
Master Onion North says, I have some. What does Konrad think about the book young Elizabeth was flipping through that was found in Tannhaus's shop? Anything of interest regarding some of the pictures?
Well, they're definitely on the Sigmundus cult's walls, so there's a link there. I still don't really know how Tannhaus is linking back to Sigmundus, whether it's just they kind of appropriate his work, but I mean, he has photos of them in his books, which implies a more kind of personal relationship than just, oh yeah, these guys stole my research to build time machines. So yeah, there's got to be a personal relationship there of some description. But he doesn't seem bad. He doesn't seem like the kind of person who'd be like, yeah, this cult seems cool. So I'm not sure what it's going to be, but there must be like a personal relationship there.
Okay, awesome. Also, Master on Your North adds, any significance to the particle sample analysis that Claudia went over? She seemed to be puzzled by one of the results.
Oh, I did notice that bit, but to be honest, like when they start talking science in this show, I'm just like, yeah, that sounds fine. And
That
checks out. Yeah.
The left phalange.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretending I know anything about science. So honestly, no.
Sorry,
with
can I
that.
stop you there just for a second there, Conrad?
Go on.
The YouTube listeners will just notice we just both did the exact same movement at the exact same time, and our
touched our
hands
nose.
came back at the same time.
There you go. We're in
Ik
perfect
bin du.
sync.
Ik bin du. Right. Anyway,
That was perfect.
it was perfect. Right. Okay. Sorry, I derailed you there. Something about science and Claudia.
Yeah, I didn't actually think that much about it, to be honest. So if a kind soul in the comments next week wants to give me a rundown of what they said and why it might be significant, that would be tremendously helpful, because honestly, most of the science stuff in this, I just accept it at face value without analysing it too much.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm generally the same. I will just roll with the punches, even though, to be honest, I have a maths degree and I teach maths. So, like, some of the stuff I understand what they're talking about. Also, we've both got a friend who's a theoretical mathematician, and he would understand a lot more than me. But yeah, just roll the punches, left phalange and all that sort of jazz.
Sure,
right, next question. Actually, says not a question, but during Adam's voiceover in episode 7, he at one point says, "Pain is their vessel or /ship." He also uses the word compass as well. Considering that Dark's creators' new series, 1889, is set on a ship. It's 1899, I think. Anyway, is set on a ship. I'm wondering if this was an Easter egg planted for the fans. Well, we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But it might have actually been a little Easter egg, I suppose, like the idea of the compass and the vessel pointing to their next venture, their next voyage, I should say. Maybe.
Are they
Why
suggesting there's like a DCU, like a Dark Cinematic Universe, that this is all
Well,
taking
we
part
already
in?
know that The Boys is part of it. We figured
Yeah,
that out
that's true.
last week,
Yeah, The Boys
so-
is in it, and as we discussed about Voller, he is kind of the personification of Odin. So the Vikings could easily exist in the in the same continuity as Dark as well. Obviously, like 2,000 years before, or 1,000.
Well, we never know. Like every universe is different, isn't it? So
That's true. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah.
So fair point. But yeah, definitely. Well, knowing these writers, I wouldn't put it past them that they're sneaking little hints in for the next show. So Beware of Boredom says, another great name. It seems like nobody has asked this yet. So if this hasn't been discussed in an episode yet, I am just going to go ahead and ask this. With the revelation of Elizabeth being indeed Charlotte's mother, and with Noah being the father, does this maybe throw a wrench in your Yasin Alexander? That your
No,
Yasin,
I don't in the slightest. Why would it?
your
if anything,
Yasin
it confirms
Alexander
it.
theory?
No. If anything, it confirms it.
As Noah might have. I thought that was going somewhere serious for a minute there.
Listen, they're both dead now anyway, so
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Once we're all dead, and we're not all the same. So
Exactly.
Yasin and Alexander, they've returned to dust from whence
return
they
to the
came.
live stream. Yeah, I mean, you can't look at Yasin and tell me that he doesn't look exactly like Alexander. So, from what I remember of Yasin from like the 5 minutes of television that he was in.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, it says, put a hole in your Alexander Yasin theory, as Noah might have had a vested interest in getting rid of his rival.
Is that what? Why would Alexander be his rival for Ellie?
No,
I guess
Yasin.
Yasin was his rival for Ellie. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. I mean, I think he was just if that they had like gone on that path, then Noah might have wanted to bump him off. But obviously, he grew to love Regina, and that fixed that problem. The heart wants what the heart wants, and unfortunately, Yasin didn't want Ellie anymore. He wanted Regina, which is understandable.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
So Vic Disco, again, thanks for the donation, Vic.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Says,
Thank you.
Great podcast as always, guys. Thank you. I usually watch the episodes again, just so I can think of some questions. Great idea. I love the idea that people are watching along with us. Although this time round, I don't know if I can watch Marta die again. Anthony, it's quite a gut punch. Having said that, though, I've just got a few questions for Konrad. When this new Marta shows up and tells Jonas about another world, do you think that an alternate version of Jonas exists there, and perhaps is the one that turns into Adam?
No. So I think an alternate version of Jonas did exist there, but I think it's running in opposite. So I think Marta is the Jonas, of that world, and her older self is the stranger, and that older self, the older version of that self, is the, I guess, Eve. And Jonas presumably dies in a similar way to how Marta dies in this universe. Although it's kind of like I was saying in the main episode, like the possibility for characters crossing over and replacing each other and doing God knows what, having sex with themselves and having children.
Having children with themselves.
Yeah. Listen. We'll figure it out.
2020. It's 2020.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
2053.
Yeah,
It's 2053.
Yeah.
Then Vic Disco goes on to say, I know that Claudia mentions that she had seen a world without Jonas, but what do you think that means?
I think that's the world that she comes from. I think he died, but I don't think it. I don't think it actually changed anything. I think she just kind of assumed his role as the one who would kind of both try and stop the disaster and perpetuate it at the same time by growing up to be the one who drives humanity towards disaster. So I think it's basically just mirrored.
Okay, awesome. Interesting. Actually, I didn't actually. We touched upon this. I think you touched upon it a little bit in the main episode, but I wanted to ask you: do you believe that this? Oh, actually, you said you think this is happening for the first time, or Adam/Jonas or middle stranger Jonas hadn't had this happen to them before. So is that your way of saying that this is the breaking of the cycle?
I think so. Yeah, I think. I mean, Jonas will still the murder of Marta. I think will still have the desired effect on Jonas. Like it still is obviously an incredibly painful thing for him to witness and experience. But I think if a different Marta showing up in a weird way must surely soften the blow a bit, even though she's not his Marta. To him, for him to still have some connection to a Marta. And I don't believe that Adam would have become as broken as he has if he had also had that experience. But having said that, you did raise a good point when I said I thought it was alternate Marta who was writing these letters. For Noah to have one of her letters sort of implies that they are aware of her. So it's still a bit up in the air, that one.
Yeah, okay, awesome. By the way, Anthony, Vic Disco here, still talking. He didn't say that. By the way, Anthony, just wanted to say, get well, and sorry to hear about your son. Hope he gets better soon. Glad to hear you guys didn't get the beer flu. Yeah, thanks, Vic. We are doing much better now. I think my son, I don't know what was wrong with him. He had a high temperature, and because I'm a teacher, you have to be very, very careful. Well, I suppose everyone should be very careful, and we had to get a test, but everything was fine, and to be honest with you, in a few days we were cleared up. It's just that in those initial days, we had to know whether I could go to work or not. Unfortunately. Thanks, Vic. Right, Chris K says, does Konrad know how did Noah manage to travel from 1921 to 2019 to meet Charlotte, and then back, I think it was to 2020, not 2019, yeah. And then back from 2020 to 1921 to try and kill Adam, since the suitcase is already given to Bartos and the passage is still closed.
Well, I mean, they've got
Interesting.
Well, okay. Well, so how is Noah traveling without a briefcase, basically?
Basically, yeah, and the passage closed too.
I mean, the church with its weird portal is still there, right? I assume that's always been how he's traveling.
Yeah, but how can he get back though?
From where? Sorry, from
2020, yeah.
I assume the portal's there in 2020 as well.
Oh, okay. So Sigmundus have a continual access to this portal at any time to travel wherever they want, basically.
Yeah, I think the portal is there. Like now that it's been built in 2020, in 1920, it also exists. And can be invoked, I guess, in the 50s, the 80s, and every timeline beyond that.
Okay, awesome. AK says, in the final scene, the other Marta, or we call it Alt Marta, let's call it that, mentions another world. Do you think that this is the only alternate world, or will there be more? Or will it be like a full DC universe? Like, if yes, how many will there be?
I mean, once you've got one, you're kind of in for a penny, in for a pound on that stuff, really. Like, as I say, there's one where Voller is the hero and he has both eyes. There's one where it's all just superheroes just flying around. There's one where Magnus has a mustache. It's there's as many as they want, really. I can honestly say I think this is the first. And normally when stuff gets into like alternate reality territory, I kind of get a bit like, oh, okay, because it's normally a way of them doing like a zero stakes storyline. You know, like you can have one where Batman dies at the end or something like that, and it doesn't matter because it's not the real Batman. But and I think this is the first time where an alternate reality has been invoked where I actually am really into it, and I guess it's because they are like directly impacting the true reality, if you want to call it that. It's a really interesting way of them doing it. So it seems a little bit more involved than just the comic book multiverse thing, where it's like this one Spider-Man has wings, and
yeah.
But I would love them to do more. I don't know how the hell they're going to do more in 8 episodes of television, to be honest. I feel like they've got a lot of work to do with not that much time.
Yeah, exactly. Be interested to see what you think going forward. So Adam McCready asks 2 questions for you both. Oh, yay. I'm going to channel my inner Anthony's dark discussions logic here. Oh, geez, this isn't going to be good. And make some bold, mainly right predictions. Well, I am always right, Adam, as you know. I've never had to make a correction, ever. So, question 1. I would assume that... Oh, okay. Adam's gone off script here.
Oh, okay.
I would assume that you use Lucio's Break It Down because you play Overwatch. So who's your favorite hero to play as?
Are you going to let me answer this first?
You go first, yeah.
Oh, hold on. There you go. Oh. See if this works. Oh, no, I've kind of broken him. There you go. There's my McCree. It's the only Funko Pop I own, because I hate Funko Pops, generally speaking. But I got a McCree one, because I do like McCree.
Yeah, I don't like Funko Pops either. I'm sorry, everyone out there. I know if you have a YouTube channel, you have to have a load of Funko Pops behind you.
That's why I've got it there. This is my nerd shelf. I had to set it up to be like, look at me, I'm legitimate.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for some reason, people have chosen these little weird looking things with all the same eyes as a sign that you actually legitimately are, like, you know, I don't know, into nerd culture or something.
Yeah, it's proof.
It's proof. Like, and to be honest with you, fine, I'm not a nerd if I don't like Funko Pops.
Yeah. I've gone the
Hot
other
take.
way. Just got stuff.
Hot take.
I just get like Street Fighter tattoos instead, and just ruin my life going forward by.
Yeah, like, to be honest with you, the only Funko Pops I've ever liked are the ones that have their eyes covered by goggles and stuff. It's just anyway. I could talk all day about it. Like,
who's your favorite Overwatch character?
Oh yeah, my favorite Overwatch character. Right. So, which one is my favorite, or which one am I the best at?
I would assume they're probably the same.
Yeah, actually, probably, yeah. They probably are, actually. May.
Yeah?
Yeah.
May was always good.
May is my best character. May, or like, I usually play tank, to be honest with you, and it would be like a Reinhardt or a Roadhog, like, but I think May is the character that I feel it's my favorite character. And then Adam also asks, you're watching FIFA videos, so must have half an interest in football. Remember I was talking about the goal line technology? Yeah. And the way Konrad was laughing suggests he likes football too. So who do you support? Right, now, just because Konrad's laughing, he could be, he could be trying to make me feel good. But yes, he does actually like football. So who do you support, Konrad?
I support Tottenham Hotspurs.
Yeah, Tottenham Hotspurs, who have my team's old manager. I support Manchester United.
Yeah.
And I'm not a glory hunter, I will say, although I do love a bit of glory.
You started supporting them in the 90s when they were the best team in the country.
Hang on a minute. I've got a picture of myself wearing a Man United top when I was like 1.5 years old, but I will say, my support of Man United has grown out of the roots of glory hunting, because my father, actually kind of, maybe not, my father supported Man United, and I'm pretty sure it was because of George Best. My father was from Northern Ireland, so
yeah, there's like a lot of like links between Northern Ireland and Man United, so it's not like unprecedented at all.
Yeah. Oh no. Over here, it's like in my generation, it's all Man United and Liverpool fans. And now that I'm a teacher, I'm seeing a load of kids coming up and they're supporting like like Man City. And I'm like,
that's awful. I
We
mean,
all
it's just,
know-
like you can't really call it like. I mean, I quite like basketball as well, and I grew
Yes,
up in the '90s loving the Chicago Bulls because of Michael Jordan. So I was totally a glory hunter, and it just so happens that I stayed into it, and the Bulls are terrible now. So
Yeah, I'm really sorry for this sports talk for anyone who doesn't like sports.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna have to say who my favorite basketball team is now too, because Konrad did. I used to play basketball for like a men's team in Belfast and stuff. So I'm a big basketball fan. I supported the Lakers because when I was growing up, the Lakers were the best team. And then when I was about 13, I realized, hang on a minute, I only support the Lakers because they're good. And I hated that. So I went to the NBA 2K game and I clicked the random button and Minnesota Timberwolves popped up. So I've been supporting them.
Couldn't have done worse, to be honest.
I've been supporting them ever since. And to be honest with you, we might not be the best team in the world, but we've got the best logo.
Debatable.
No,
They're
it's
okay.
Not debatable. Right, next question.
Sports talk is over. All right,
Over.
we've had our sports minute. Sorry,
I might even
everyone.
I'll put in the little put
Yeah.
in the timestamp sports talk.
Sports talk. Yeah.
Okay, so Marvin, how in the hell is Konrad going to convince us now that he doesn't have any powers of premonition after predicting the Ali/Charlotte twist 14 episodes ago?
I listen. The theory matrix is going to look really bad by the end of this. Like, I think the thing that I'm very much like I predict a lot of things, and most of them are wrong. But it kind of a stop clock is right twice a day, and in this case, I happen to be right on the Claudia finding what's her dog's name of Gretchen. Claudia finding Gretchen in the caves, and Ellie being Charlotte's mum theory.
Yeah.
But there was a lot I got wrong, so I don't want to give the impression that I'm like more switched on than anyone else. But I was when that like opening happened, I was looking at my partner just like, I can't believe I've got this right. That was a ridiculous theory. I can't believe that worked out. But yeah,
That's going to be your calling card for this podcast for whoever knows how long. Like,
yeah, somehow I pulled that one out.
Some way, you got it. Okay, next up, Alex asks, so does Konrad expect Hannah to hook up with Egon now? And is there a possible consequence in the form of kids coming from this? If yes, do we know the child already? Or will we do we get to know them, or is it of importance? Now, I think that we actually talked about this in last week's Q&A, which as we're recording this hasn't come out yet. So give your brief view, but I'm pretty sure you can find the answer in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will. I think she will seduce him. I don't know. I mean, she could technically probably still have children. Women can have kids very late, depending on their biology. So it's possible. I think, given what we know about the sort of past, present, and future kind of existing at the same time, making it impossible to change them. If she does end up seducing Tronta and no, I said it twice, Egon. I don't know why. I've been having real trouble getting Egon and Tronta's names
Although
mixed up this episode.
let's be honest, Tronta would be amazing. That would be son, father, and grandfather.
Collect the whole set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if she does seduce Egon, I feel, and she does have a child, we must already know who they are, which it just further complicates things, really. I don't even know who they would be. They'd be one of the Tiedemans, I guess. Oh, I hope it's not like Peter Doppler or something. That'd be like, because we know Peter Doppler is one of the ones who has like a question mark around his origins, because we know he turned up in Vinden in like 1986.
Yeah, if it's time travel related, then yes. But if it's not time travel related, Peter Doppler would have to be born in like the mid 60s.
Yeah,
which would mean Hannah would be in like
she'd
close
be quite
to
old.
60.
Yeah, so it seems unlikely. He's the only one that I could really see it being off the top of my head, but you are right. The kind of timing of that seems a bit unlikely to me.
Okay, awesome. So Sean Springer asks, hey guys, I love the show, and I feel like there is any episode to ask a question. This is the one. I have a few. So first, I don't know if Konrad has answered this yet, but who are the man and the woman who are there when Noah sends his old self, his young self off. So we've talked about this extensively. I think he's referring to Magnus and Francisca.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely Magnus and Francisca. Like, they're joined at the hip. It's only going to be Magnus and we know one of them's Magnus, so the other one's definitely Francisca.
Yeah. I've actually come out and just told you they are, because there's no point in pretending. Like,
yeah, I mean, that actor, even if they hadn't said Magnus, I would have been like, that's definitely Magnus.
and anyone saying that I've spoiled the idea that that's Francisca. Do you really think when Konrad found out at some point in the season 3 that when they say Francisca, do you really think he's going to be like, what?
Magnus is never getting another girlfriend. Like, he can barely speak to Francisca, let alone any other girls. Like, there's no way that he's moving on from that relationship.
No, not at all. Then again, they are there at the end in Adam's lair when the God particle is going crazy and causing the apocalypse. Yep. Second, what do you think of the golden ball that the Alt Marta uses? Please. Yeah, golden snitch uses to time travel. Do you think that you can trust the other Marta? And why did she save Jonas?
I mean, she's wearing all black, and she has heavy eyeshadow, and she has a fringe, and she's an alternate reality character, so she's definitely going to be, guarded and potentially clouded or shrouded in mystery. But I think, if she is that her timeline's version of Jonas, like she is the traveller, the person who goes through their entire timeline and is both trying to stop and also causing the problem, then he can probably trust the younger version, just like we can trust young Jonas. It's when older Marta and Adam or Eve Marta, or whoever that is, starts turning up that you have to be worried.
Interesting. Are you going to put that as a theory? You've mentioned that a few times now, the Eve Marta. Are you going to put that as a theory?
Oh yeah, it's in there. Don't you worry about that. That's one of the few coming out of this that I actually feel like might have some credence to it. Although, as is traditional with Dark, we'll probably get to episode 1 of season 3, and I'm like, no, she's just from somewhere else. Like, Jonas is still around.
Yeah, well, that definitely is going to happen. No spoilers. So, finally, from Sean, where do you think Stranger Jonas and the rest of the gang went off to right before the blast? So we've answered this again. He thinks they're going to 1888.
Yeah, I think they're going 30 years before the 20s. 33 years before the 20s.
Okay. Okay, so Jane Choi. Petition to see happy dance video from Konrad on guessing Elizabeth and Charlotte relationship correctly back in the middle of season 1.
It wasn't captured, but I give it a like...
There we go. There's the little dance. And if you want to clip that up, just be my guest. I
was very happy.
Oh, MH just popped in and said, signed. As in the petition is signed for a dance.
You're welcome.
Okay, MH.
No need to thank me.
Yeah, well, they'll thank you, don't worry. So MH, question for both. Which one would you choose? A world without Wyndon or a world without Corona?
Well, one of them is fictional and one of them is real?
Neither can exist while the other survives.
Okay.
That's what MH says.
So is the world without Wyndon implying that all this time travel stuff is going on? Because if that's the case, then like the Wyndon stuff leads to the literal apocalypse. So probably that. I guess I'd get rid of that.
Yeah, like if it's literally like I think there is a town in Germany called Wyndon.
I looked it up, and apparently it's fictional, but I don't know. Maybe it's a Springfield in the Simpsons situation.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. Yeah, there is a Wyndon, but it's not based on the real Wyndon, right? You know what I mean? But so if we're talking about the real Wyndon, like if we could go back to the start, if we go back to February, if we could get rid of one town and save everyone else in the world. I don't know. Then we're sort of getting into Ulrich territory.
Yeah, that's kind of trolley problem situation there. Just like, we'll just get rid of that town to save everyone. I wouldn't feel comfortable having the power to make that decision, to be honest.
Exactly, yeah. Right. Eric asks a question for Konrad. Due to the 33-year cycle, pretty much the entire show has taken place in a few tiny slices of high activity across 130-ish years. Given that we know some characters have access to a portal that ignores the 33-year rule, would you care to expound on what do you think they have done with the decades of time we don't see?
That's a good question. I feel like there must be stuff going on in these stretches of time in between. But for the people who are kind of like actively time traveling, I'm thinking specifically the Sick Mundus guys. I don't know what that could be. I guess no one's traveling during these stretches, so they don't need to be kind of actively changing anything, or well, in their case, making sure that everything remains the same. So I'm not actually sure. It's a really good question though, and I wonder if we're even going to be shown any of that. The introduction of these portals that can take you to wherever you want to go, and the fact that more and more people seem to be using them definitely opens up a huge number of possibilities for what they're going to depict for that in the next season.
Yeah. Yeah. Not saying anything more.
I haven't. It's a bit of a rubbish answer because I can't really. It's one of those things where like there's so many possibilities for it that I can't really give a theory because it could literally be anything. Like they could just be hanging out, or they, or, just being like, "Hey, it's the '60s. Let's listen to some Beatles." Or it could be like, "Oh, we're going to an alternate reality where the Beatles don't exist." I just don't know.
Yeah, or they could just be studying books, learn about all quantum theory and stuff.
Yeah.
So this episode contains such an existential gut punch in what Jonas does to himself. I had a physical reaction when seeing the line, "You will carry this pain for the rest of your life." It seemed to me that this level of self-harm would be sufficient to warp Jonas into Adam all by itself. Stranger Jonas is still fighting Adam though. What else is required to push him over the edge?
That's a good question. I wonder if it's the realization that it's his fault. That not only is Marta dead, but that it was him bringing the gun into the equation in an attempt to save her that actually caused the chain of events which would allow Adam to kill her. So it's not just a case that he's failed to save her, he's actually very directly responsible for her dying. I think that may well be enough, because he is, as we've kind of said a few times about Andreas Pichman's performance in particularly the last few episodes, but to be honest, the whole way through, he's able to kind of go from mysterious and quite dangerous looking to incredibly vulnerable and almost a little bit kind of unstable and naive in a really believable way. And I think we were seeing more of that towards the end of the season. So he already feels like he's losing the plot a little bit, and is just kind of desperate to do whatever. So I think he's already on the way to do it, to becoming Adam, and it will just take that realization that it's his fault that Marta died, to kind of push him down that path.
Interesting. Okay, so next question comes from DJKL Productions. A lot of questions, DJKL. I'm not going to be able to fit them all in, but I'll take a few out. The first one is for both of us, I believe. Oh, no, it's for me. But it actually kind of is for both of us, actually.
No, it's fine. I won't answer. I'll say nothing.
Without wanting to anticipate too far, what comes after the third season, when Konrad has seen and discussed everything? So, we've talked about this a fair bit before. What we want to do is do a different series. Now, we probably will touch in on Dark every now and then as well, just because, it's where we came from. But at the same time, we're going to be doing a new series, which we're currently discussing which series to do. Obviously, we're trying to find a series that Konrad hasn't seen. So every series that I suggest, he doesn't really know how to react because he needs to trust me that it'll work,
Yeah.
So it works.
We just lie to them and just be like, "Yeah, I've never seen Game of Thrones before. I'm really looking forward to it."
One episode at a time, Game of Thrones. I predict it'll have a good.
See you in 4 years.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically, guys, the series we're looking at, the couple of series that I've got in my mind right now, they have to. There's a few different conditions we're going on. They have to be short-ish. So I'm thinking like no more than 40 episodes. I'd prefer it to be less than 30, to be honest with you. And they have to be sort of worthy of deep analysis.
Yeah.
And another thing is that they have to be worthy of theorizing. Like you have to have something going on in the show that you're not quite sure what it is. Now, obviously, Dark is basically a ripe field for the picking in terms of that. We're never going to get a series with the same amount of theorizing as Dark, I don't believe. But we'll definitely get a series. The one I'm thinking of in particular, and we've talked about it, I think we're almost settled. We're not 100% sure, but I think we're almost settled. Definitely does have a lot of theorizing and a lot of mystery to it. But it's also got a really unique style that I think Konrad would really enjoy getting his teeth into. Now, another thing which I'm really looking forward to is I really am invested in Konrad liking Dark. I really want him to like Dark.
It's not working so far.
Yeah, it's not working. So he hates this show, but he loves the show, which makes me really happy. But I really want him to like Dark. See, once we're finished Dark, I don't mind if every other series we ever do, he just hates on it and hates on it and hates on it. You know what I mean? So just because if we choose like a different TV show and then Konrad absolutely hates it, we're still going to do it. He's still going to predict, but we'll just maybe have a different tone to the podcast.
Yeah.
But I just don't want him not to like Dark. That's the one thing.
That's goal one. Get through this.
That's goal one. But yeah, I'm sure Konrad's open to it as well. Is sort of revisiting Dark every now and then on the podcast. I also
definitely.
I also want to have Konrad on to Dark discussions more often. It's a bit hard to get him on to Dark discussions whenever there is spoilers, obviously, throughout. I don't know how to do that. Which would also make Dark Discussions the same show as it is now, where we discuss the whole thing. But that's quickly anyway. Just after Christmas, we'll be ready to do that anyway. There is another thing which we might do as a special on the After Dark podcast, and I actually have never even mentioned this to Konrad, so he's hearing this for the first time. My friend Emmett, who does Star Trek Discovery breakdowns with me for the minute, we do Sci-Fi Saturday every Saturday on the channel. He's never seen Dark, and I said to him that we're not doing episode by episode again. Like, we're not doing that again. But I said to him, what we could do is he could watch like the whole first season, and then like Konrad and I could chat to him about it, and then he could watch the whole second season, and then we could chat to him about it, and then he could watch the whole third. So it's sort of like a real quick version of the After Dark podcast, if you know what I mean.
Just do after dark. That's what I've been pitching the whole time.
After Dark.
Just more and more people who haven't seen it, and we just add members to the show as time goes on.
Yeah, but I think that like sort of as like sort of a little special, like maybe like January, February, March or something like that. We'll have like one episode extra a month where we go into that idea. As well as that, like Konrad and I have lots of ideas in the pipeline, so that are to do with the After Dark podcast and otherwise. So look out for stuff in the future, but we've definitely got loads of ideas.
Yes, I agree with all of that.
You agree with all of that, okay?
Yeah.
So I said I would choose a couple of yours, DJ KL, so I'll try and choose another one. Dark plays with a lot of religious motifs. Do you think that it wants to promote religion, criticize it, or is it neutral in this regard?
I don't think it's neutral. I don't think... I said this back in season 1. I don't think you depict a priest abducting children without knowing that you're getting into some pretty pointed territory with that. I don't know. I don't think it's their main goal, but I think they're definitely looking at... In season 1, I think they're definitely looking at the influence that religion and figures who are exponents of religion have over young children, and I think they are exploring in this season more the risks of blind faith in an idea, and not just in an idea such as religion. I think there are lots of characters who have blind faith that what they are doing is the right thing, and by pursuing it to potentially dangerous ends, they actually cause more damage than they fix. You know, there's lots of examples of characters doing that. So I don't think they're necessarily saying, oh, organised religion is bad, let's get rid of it. But I do think they are, yes, particularly in the first season, I do think that they are drawing on some pretty pointed stuff and doing so deliberately. And I do think they have something to say about the idea of faith as a motivator.
Oh, 100%. And I would agree fully with you. I think that when they talk, even the way they refer to time as God, and they just show how messed up God has made everything, it really does allude to the idea that maybe religion, at least in certain forms, is a harmful thing. I think also that the idea of children being abducted into time, the idea of time being gone, it's like it's kind of like it does also speak to me in a similar vein in the idea of like being abducted into a religion at a young age.
Yeah, no, I definitely think they're drawing those comparisons very deliberately, and actually that's an interesting point that even in season 2 we're still seeing Sigmundus, which although they say they're not religious, they have all kind of the trappings of a religious organization. They are bringing children in or young people into their organization, in the likes of Agnes and Noah. So yeah, there's definitely some deliberate messaging going on there, I think.
Oh, 100%. Annie Marl asks, the stranger says Adam is the end point. Maybe I can't prevent myself from becoming what he is, but I can stop what he has become of me. Can you reflect on what he means, how he intends to achieve this, and whether you find it realistic? Before you do that, she said that this is a question for Konrad primarily.
Thank you very much. You stay out of it, you get out. That's interesting that I didn't pick up on that line especially, and that sounds like quite a loaded one. So I would have normally expected myself to notice that. So what is the line that he says?
Adam is the end point. Maybe I can't prevent myself from becoming what he is, but I can stop what has become of me.
Okay, so
I get it. I get it. It's like he can, he can't stop himself becoming it, but he can stop the thing that he becomes.
Yeah. I think he's kind of so I think that's a really succinct way of putting it. It's similar to how Jonas is starting to approach his role in all of this. He's saying my fate is fixed in that Stranger and later Adam are his endpoints. Like he is going to become those because they already exist. Mm-hmm. But the question is, what is Adam's endpoint, and how do we set that endpoint to be something that resolves this in a way that is good for everyone? So yeah, I think that's probably what he's referring to, and it's actually. It's a really sad acknowledgement by his character that this and in a way is paradoxical, because he's sort of saying it's almost like I don't know, like a drug addict. He's saying, well, I'm going to relapse anyway, so I might as well take the drugs now. He's almost saying I'm going to become Adam. There's nothing I can do about it, so I might as well become Adam. But while I'm doing that, go to any means necessary to stop Adam as he is now. It's a noble goal, but it makes me question what he's going to do in the pursuit of it.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so a question from Atahan. There's one for each of us here. First one for you. Let me see. A bit more of a meta question. How well do you think Dark... Now, we'll just talk about like the idea of how well they'll do. We'll not go into the details of what you think, because we've talked about that already. How well do you think Dark will be able to handle the concept of another world? Do you think they'll handle it well, or will it be all far too much for them?
Oh, no, I have every confidence they're going to handle it. Come on. They've done everything else so far. Like, I know I've gone on about it loads in this, but the complexity of moving that gun around the characters in that episode... I know it doesn't seem like much when you just watch an episode of television. It's like, oh, this character has the gun, and now this character has the gun, and this character has the gun. But to narratively structure that is so difficult, and for it to work while you're talking about while you're doing while you're engaging with ideas of like time traveling is so impressive. So yeah, they definitely have the chops to do it, and I have every faith in it. Although I do hope that there's like flying cars in Altmarta as well. I want it to be like the Jetsons. Yeah,
that would be great. So for me now, from Atahan, which reminds me, now that the season is up, why do you like this season more than the other two? I never said I liked it more than the other two. I think they're all great. I love the whole show. But yeah, if you were going to put a gun to my head and tell me that I had to choose one, I probably would choose season 2. And I think that's maybe because we know all the characters. We're in the world. We get answers to some stuff. We have a lot of other mysteries set up. It's got an awesome ending, and it makes me hopeful for the third season. Now, the third season, in my opinion, fully delivered, but I really loved like the excitement that I had for the third season was probably the greatest excitement I've ever had for any TV show ever, and that was I got that from season 2. You know, so that's probably why I think that way. But I think they're all, isn't it? I think they're all the same quality, but I just feel that way. Yeah.
I think you get that with a lot of like middle chapters where, not that I know anything about season 3, but when you finish the middle chapter, everything's so open-ended and the possibilities are so exciting, whereas the third or the closing chapter, because they're so focused on like kind of landing everything, it's a little bit probably there's normally less room for your imagination to kind of go crazy. But I'm really looking forward to what's going to come in season 3. I can't wait for that either.
Awesome. Okay, 2 more questions. First one is from Beatrice. And Beatrice says, I asked Konrad's top 3 and bottom 3 characters from season 1, which he answered with Jonas, Alexander, and Claudia for the top, and Ulrich, Noah, and Bartos for the bottom. For any changes for season 2? If so, please explain why the character was included or excluded. So what's your top 3 and bottom 3 characters? Now, she didn't ask me, but I'm going to answer this too. So top 3 and bottom 3 characters for season 2. You can take into account season 1, but I would say maybe let's say season 2
separate. So I think I did actually reflect on this when I listened back to that episode. I was like, I don't really think Alexander should have been in there. I think Mikkel should have been in there, really. But I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to retcon it. That was what Konrad thought at that time, and we're sticking with it. I think season 2, for good guys, Jonas has still got to be in there. Claudia's got to be in there. So it's really just a fight for that third spot. And I think who am I going to give it to? I think it has to be Egon. I've got to give it to Egon. He deserves it.
Okay.
And
I'll do my top 3.
You do your good guys.
My good guys are going to be pretty similar, maybe even the exact same, but I'll change it just for the sake of interest, right? So I think Jonas is going to go in based... just to make it a bit different than yours, I'm going to say Jonas. I'll say Stranger Jonas, right? Even though they're the same person. But Stranger Jonas really
very good.
Yeah, I like this in this series. How he became Lewis Hoffman is just unbelievable. Also Claudia, unbelievable. And my third, Tronta.
If you want a bush trimmed, Tronta's your man.
Listen, if I was that age and my granddad told me that he's gonna get me some driving lessons, I'd be stoked. You know. Yeah. Right. Bottom 3, off you go.
So Adam's got to be in there. You know, he's a real piece of work. He's not really a villain, but I'm gonna put him in there. I'm gonna say Clausen. Because he is kind of a villain, like he's not villainous. He's an antagonist. Like he doesn't even know it, but he's actively working against the interests of pretty much everyone else because he's sort of like doggedly pursuing. And it's another talking about that faith thing. It's another character who is just like doggedly pursuing a goal, almost like bloody mindedly, despite what it's actually going to do for everyone. So Clausen's in there. Who else? Noah. He's not really a villain in this series. In this series, but I think I'll put him in there because he kind of has to be in there somewhere because he's such a great character.
Yeah, he does. Bottom 3 for me. Claudia.
I forgot Hannah as well. Stick her in.
Hannah. Hannah. I'm going to put Claudia in my top 3 and bottom 3 because I think she's genuinely a good person. But the storyline with Egon, you know, in that particular storyline, she was kind of like the bad guy. So I'm going to put her in both. And then I'll go with Adam too. Yeah, Adam, the big bad, the man who likes to cover his scar. He's really self-conscious about this scar. Doesn't mind about these ones.
Yeah, the face burns. That's fine.
Yeah. God forbid someone look at your neck and see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question comes from Handsome Head Injury. Okay, so let me see. Why did Adam explain to Noah who Charlotte and Elizabeth were? Even handing him Elizabeth's picture. Didn't Noah already have this knowledge from reading the missing pages? I don't think he did.
No, he knew Charlotte was his daughter because he went and spoke to her.
Yes, but I don't. But does that mean that he knew? Like, did he know? Like, why would Noah know who Elizabeth's mother was? Like, the world blew up when he met her.
Yeah, that is a good point.
The only explanation to that would be that that was in the book too, but there's no reason why that would be in the book.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Maybe he didn't know that. It could also just be, him emphatically saying, yeah, fine, I lied to you. This is that. What are you going to do about it? You're going to try and shoot me? And it's kind of like a villain explaining their plan. Like, he thinks he's won, so he doesn't care. Like, he's happy to confirm everything that Noah suspects him of lying to him about because he knows that he's about to kill him.
Yeah, like, it works both ways. To me, I personally, I think I do think that, like, imagine, right, baby Charlotte had to be moved somewhere at some point, taken away from Noah and Elizabeth. That would be in the book, right? Mm. Now, let's say also for matter of argument that it also has like a big family tree in the book that everyone knows, so Noah would know who everyone is, right? But just because it says Charlotte, like, he probably already knew that Elizabeth named the baby after the mother. So he wouldn't immediately think, oh, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
So, and then when he goes to see her in the present day, when he went to see her in Tannhouse's clock shop, did he know that was Elizabeth's mother? I don't know if he did. Is there any evidence to show that he did know that was Elizabeth's mother? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it depends what he and Peter and Ellie discuss when they're in the bunker after this. But, I mean, if it doesn't come up, Noah is some random... I mean, if you look at that kind of social dynamic as it exists for those characters, Noah is some random guy who has just walked into that bunker. They know the name. They don't know that face. That's not who they associate with Noah. And he's going to be like, I'm Noah, and everyone else is going to be like, oh, you were the one who was murdering all the children. So, like, they're probably not going to be that talkative with him, to be honest. So it's entirely possible they just didn't tell him anything. And, then somehow he and Ellie fell in love. What better way to start a romance than with someone who's accused of murdering children?
Exactly. Right, okay, so that is going to be us. I'm just going to make one sort of little comment here based on a comment. Someone said, don't let Konrad see the trailer for Season 3. We're not going to let him, don't worry. And I'm also going to edit together my videos that I made in a way that you can't see any of my predictions based on the trailers. Because I think we've been doing it so far, we're going to continue doing it, all right? So just rest assured, guys, he's not going to see any trailers. And you're going to see everything he sees in my videos anyway. And you'll know that there is no trailer stuff in there. Don't worry, I'm going to cut it out. So, Konrad, any last thoughts this week before we head into the Theory Matrix on Monday?
Just send me your thoughts and prayers, guys, because the Theory Matrix is not looking good. I need all the help I can get.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers go out. Thoughts and prayers. Anyway, so... I was about to say something that could have got me in a lot of trouble there. I'm not going to say it. Right. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on audio apps. If you want to send us an email, criticism for Konrad or praise for me, either one, it's adpodmail@gmail.com. That's adpodmail@gmail.com. Why not? I'm on YouTube now. I may as well say it. Follow me on Twitter @HeyAnthonyJames. You can vote on polls for my Dark Discussions episodes every week right there. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the After Dark podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode.